Get back to Shervo, who's on the Gold Coast.
Yeah, thank you guys. We're continuing updating Alfred, of course, the cyclone just off the coast here in Queensland. One of the areas that is going to be heavily hit is Gold Coast. We're with the acting Deputy Mayor of the Gold Coast, Donna Gates. Great to have you with us. So just take us through, you've been very busy the last couple of days. Thank you for your time. What's the latest update on the intensity of Alfred?
The wind is stronger. The warnings this morning are that the wind will be 120 k per hour up to 155 k per hour. So that's stronger than yesterday, which was 90 to 120. It's also shifted a little south, so I don't know whether that's better for us at the moment or not. They do say the impacts from the south of the system are worse, so we'll have to wait and see. But you can see the wind started gusting already this morning.
You can definitely feel a difference. There's about a 200-kilometre width of the eye that when it passes across land, it will go basically from Maroochydore down to Coolangatta. Just take us through, when that moment happens, what do you want the locals to be prepared for?
Well, we want everyone to stay off the roads and keep listening to the advice. We've given strong warnings about removing any flying objects from backyards, so tie down any outdoor furniture, get anything else that might become a missile inside. And of course, we have so many high-rise along the coast, and we're saying get everything off the balconies, take it inside, because that's where the danger can be.
Yeah, I noticed in the hotel that we're staying at, that's exactly, I walked in straight into some outdoor furniture, so they're doing the right thing. The other thing too, it has been difficult to send the message, hasn't it? Because we're seeing the wind now, we're getting a little bit of rain as well, but it's been sunny essentially. The surfers have been out there having fun. Has it been difficult sending the message, getting people warned properly?
It has, and we have had calm days, not just a little sunshine, but calm days, and there's been a lot of commentary around, oh, will it really happen? We've been fortunate previously and we've dodged these storms when they have been predicted. So this is really serious and we need that message to get through, especially the beaches are closed. We want everyone to stay off the beaches. I see there's been swimmers here this morning. It's crazy.
Yeah, it is, because it's like a washing machine out there. I mean, there's a haze, you can barely see surfers' paradise. The other issue, of course, is storm surge, and there are a number of properties on the Gold Coast that could be affected by that. The timing of it is critical, because if it's high tide when it crosses land, that could inundate up to 6,000 homes. Is that right?
That's correct, but all the modelling's been done by council on a worst case scenario. So we have a dashboard. People can Google Gold Coast dashboard, and the information is there in the very worst case scenario. The Premier yesterday asked us to do additional modelling of what would be the situation with a 0.5, a 1 metre and a 1.5 metre over the highest astronomical tide. So all that work was done overnight, and so we're very well prepared and people will be able to see the impact. What the modelling doesn't show is the depth of any water. It just shows where there will be impact. So it might be over the corner of a property, not over floor. So it's a bit tricky, but it will give people enough information to be warned about what might happen.
So those key areas, they're Paradise Point, Surfers Paradise and Eleanor as well. Deputy Acting Mayor, really appreciate your time. I know you're very busy. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Shervo.
Let's get an update from the SES in New South Wales as well, and we have Deb Platt, who's at the SES headquarters in Wollongong. So Deb, just give us an understanding of preparation for Alfred at the moment. Do you feel like people are on top of it?
Thanks, Matt, and thanks for the opportunity to really warn people of the dangers of this tropical cyclone. As you just heard from the Acting Deputy Mayor, there's lots of things that people can do to be prepared. The only benefit of this cyclone has been that it is a slow-moving cyclone, or was, and so that has given us ample time to actually plan, prepare and pre-position all of our volunteers, who are amazing, our staff and all of our assets, such as extra flood rescue boats and high clearance vehicles and communication cells. So we've been able to plan that. We have extra staff and volunteers in that area. So the SES, along with all our emergency services partners, are very well prepared for this. While we're prepared, we need the community to be prepared. And so it's now time for the community to really be alert, to really start to listen and heed the warnings. And if they feel unsafe and they're in an impacted area, then it's time to go and stay with family and friends. We will later today open 11 evacuation centres across the Tweed, Byron, Northern Rivers area. But the best option for people is to get out of the impacted areas and to go and stay with family and friends. Of course, there's all the other advice, like please be aware of all the alerts that are on social media and also our websites, the New South Wales SES website and the Bureau of Meteorology website.
It's one thing, communications have been fantastic to this point. Deb, I just wanted to ask about sandbagging. Of course, there's been a shortage. There's been long lines at some of the centres to pick up sandbags. What's your advice there, and where should people go, and what should they do if they have to wait?
So obviously we're asking people to please be patient. Here in New South Wales we have a very large amount of sandbags. We have pre-positioned them into the areas we expect to have the most impact, so really from the mid-north coast right up to the border. We do not have a shortage of sandbags at this stage, and we don't expect to have one, so that's some good news. If people need to sandbag, then I encourage them to go to the SES website and hit the link that gives you all of the sandbagging points that are open today.
One of the risks of a slow-moving storm like Cyclone Alfred is that, of course, the rain will be isolated in certain areas for a longer period of time. How concerned about flooding are you?
So at the moment we are very concerned. We do have modelling that will predict that we will have moderate to major flooding across many of our catchments, right from Taree all the way up to the border with Queensland.
Deb Platts, all the best to you and all of your crews. Thank you for the work that you've done in preparation, and hopefully you won't be too needed over the coming days. Appreciate your time. Here's Nat and Dave.
Thank you very much, Shervo. Well, for more on Tropical Cyclone Alfred, we're joined live by 7 News meteorologist Tony Auden. Good morning, Tony. Tell us exactly how Alfred is tracking this morning.
Good morning, Nat. Well, no significant changes overnight, but it's the small changes from here on in that could still have huge bearing on that impact on land. We have seen a little bit of a shift to the south. That means that the eventual track is likely to just move that little bit further south as well. There's subtle differences here. Still low end Category 2, peak wind gusts 130 k's an hour near the system centre, but a huge wind field around it. And we're starting to see some rain and showers developing on the coast this morning. Now, onto the forecast track. A bit of west-northwest for the next day, a little bit of west-southwest. Most likely landing somewhere near Brisbane with those worst conditions on the south. We do have that bit of uncertainty. The Sunshine Coast is still on the edge of this. And one other concerning thing, we're moving into an environment that will be more favourable for development. So we're currently expecting that to get to a top-end Category 2 system. The Bureau is mentioning that chance that we could get close to Category 3, and that intensification would have a huge bearing on exactly what happens on the coast and overland when it hits. For now, the cyclone warning from the Sunshine Coast down towards Grafton, a whole host. We've got the full gamut of severe weather impacts expected over the next few days. Everyone in that area should be keeping on top of those warnings. Nat?
Yeah, 4 million people in between. Tony, thank you for the update. Here's David.